Welcome everyone to the Feel Inspired podcast. This is episode 73 and session 5 with Devi. So if you don't know, basically I decided to take coaching to the podcast couch, and Devi's been one of my clients in this process. So we're kind of almost towards the end of it now, and I'm going to make sure we get you that special someone. So before we go any further, as is a tradition, let's do a Spark Conversation question as well. So these cards, they're called Spark Conversations cards. You can get them on the website sparkconversations.shop, and they are playing cards that have some questions on there that you can take on dates and wherever else as well. Even I've given them to other coaches, therapists, and they use them with their clients as well. So whatever the reason, if you want these cards, you can get them there. Right. Okay. Say stop.
Stop.
All right, mate, let's make sure it's not one of... Until now, what's been your biggest regret in life so far?
Regret?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, it's a really good, deep question.
That's a very deep question to start with.
to start off with and to think about and to, what is my regret? It could be maybe I've chosen the wrong degree maybe when I was studying.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Actually, that's kind of true. I'd sort of agree with you on that in the sense of obviously it's not really your calling as such.
Not my calling. And at the time I think I just did it because I wanted to wear, like suits at work or needed to be a professional to attract a professional. But that's weird how you think. But definitely that. I think I didn't take enough time to think about what I really would be good at or my strengths. But
did I hear you correctly? So you said you needed to be a professional to attract a professional. Is that what you said? It's interesting.
I think it was a belief from an Asian thing that you needed to be a certain caliber.
It's interesting you say that though as well, because I've always said this. It's a bit of a Freud philosophy. It's a bit of a cross between a Freud and Jung philosophy about this idea that obviously underpinning everything that we do is love. And not everyone agrees with that. I think there is a bit of an underpinning that drives us and our actions to a certain degree. Not always. But yeah, so it was fascinating to hear you say that. For me, it was getting into debt. That was definitely always hands down my biggest regret. So I'm glad that's over now. Definitely wouldn't do that again.
I know we'd be choosing the wrong career again.
Well, you found
transition.
You found the right career now. You're doing your holistic coaching, and I assume that's taking off now.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's all stepping in the right direction. Yeah. Step by step. As you know, when you do your own thing, it's never ending.
I saw you posted a video on your social media the other day, and I saw you surrounded by all these guys listening to you very intently.
Yeah. So I said, does anyone want any tips around dating and well-being? So they were open to it. So I was like, okay, let's do it.
Nice. What was the biggest challenge you came across from that group?
I think they really wanted to know how to attract a lady. That was the first thing. And then another guy was interested in how to maintain a relationship because obviously he'd come out of a divorce. Yeah. So those are the two questions. And
I'm not just randomly checking my phone, but I'm just bringing up my coaching because I didn't bring my laptop. Just in case anyone's wondering, how dare he look at his phone while he's having a conversation with her?
Yeah, no, that was the gist of it. And then I sort of gave him how to maintain the 3 A's and the 3 C's around relationships.
What were they?
So... the 3 A's for a man, women to keep their man in the masculine is acknowledgement, appreciation, and adore him like he's the best thing on earth. Nice. And for men to women, be the 3 C's, so complimenting her, cherishing her, and certainty, giving that certain, decisions and all of that.
Nice. Nice. Where did you get that from?
That was years ago when I went to a relationship workshop. I was doing my research since Tony Robbins' time. Yeah. So I don't know if it was from his stuff or I went to so many after that I just collated all the best things. I was like, actually, that does work. And I started using it myself. Yeah. And just not when you're in a relationship, but any time to say thank you to a man, or I really appreciate you did this, or I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it was again, so the 3 A's, so adoration,
Acknowledgement,
appreciation, and then
adore him.
adore. So yeah, adoration.
Adore him like he's the number one in your life. Like,
Nice.
Totally.
And then for women, it was, what was it? So
Compliment her.
Compliment, cherish.
And certainty.
Certainty.
Giving her certainty that everything's going to be okay.
I pretty much agree with that as well. I like that. I love that. Anyway, so we need to talk about you.
Yes.
And
let's get some certainty in here.
Yeah, let's get some certainty. Every time we talk, though, I do feel that you are very close, and so close, and closer than you realize. And obviously, we recently talked about a person that you've been speaking to.
Oh,
Without giving too many details away.
No.
We obviously won't, because obviously it's quite fresh and current. Is that still current?
Yeah, no, I got a call from that person last night, but
nice.
I was out and I didn't pick it up because I was busy. But I did text today and I said, oh, hi, sorry, I missed your call. I'm either free before 9 or this evening. So let's see. That's it.
And did the date get solidified of meeting?
No, because he called, so I don't know why he was calling last night. It might be for that.
Okay.
Because it's this week we're meant to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. So that came about from a singles event that happened over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there were 3 men that took my number. And out of the 3, I thought that one was it was actually sort of my type, or we had a lot of banter, or I thought it was.
I know this individual, of course,
attractive.
as well. So
I know. So tell me more about him then.
Well, I know him, as in I've met him at events as well, so I know of him.
Yeah.
Do I know him well? Probably not, but he's always struck me as a very
he
kind
seemed
of
like a
straight
nice
shooter
guy. Yeah.
Nice guy, yeah, really decent
and
guy.
then he, after the event, he texted and he's called and he seems interested. But the age thing, I did say, I am whatever age I am, and he's younger.
21, yeah.
21 always.
And he's 18-ish. Yeah.
And I did make it clear that I'm not looking to have kids, just to be clear that that's not what I want. Or as long as he's okay with that, then otherwise it'll be a waste for him. So I thought I'd just put it out there.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I've got someone who's got in touch with me and I've got to speak to them tomorrow, and they were asking about a particular ailment they've got. And, already my brain started buzzing with ideas, because I think to myself that, you've got to... he was asking about this and how you address it and how you bring it up. And I think to myself that, if you don't address it, you're going to have to address it later anyway. So you may as well just put it, as I've always said, put it forefront on your profile, because all that's going to do in a good way is eliminate people who are not for you. And the ones who actually do come forward then are 100% going to be for you. So it's better just to kind of put out, out that stuff, the kids stuff, for example, in this case. And so that's pretty cool though. I'm liking it. And did you kind of go with my suggestion of messaging him and just kind of always tackling the elephant in the room?
I was actually going to do that, but I didn't get a chance that evening. But I was going to do it maybe this evening or something, because it's this week, or even yesterday. But because he already rang, or I saw a missed call, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what he's going to say.
Well, he's calling. I mean, at the end of the day, he's calling, so it's generally going to be a good sign, right? So
he hasn't read the message yet. And he's one of those who takes a while to. Yeah. But so I didn't know much about him, because that evening you had to just go around these tables, and it was all. And then it was nice of him to ask for the number. I thought it's quite confident. Yeah. And I like that. Yeah.
I think he's been learning from me.
Good. Give him some more tips.
No, I'm glad to hear that. And then you said out of those, there was 3 guys who got your number and stuff, but he was the most promising one.
Yeah, the other one I was like, I'm not sure if I'm totally attracted to him, but he's a really nice guy. And the others were not really.
Not really. Well, out of the obviously having even just one.
Sorry, the other one. Yeah. Why did I say no to that? Oh, because I think the week before at the Diwali do, I think I saw him and he already was kind of flirting, but you could tell he was really drunk.
Oh, okay.
And I think part of me was like, he seems nice as well, but he has text as well, but I wasn't sure if I should. Not sure yet.
Not your cup of tea.
Yeah, not in that sense, like getting drunk.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I don't think that's for you either.
But out of the three, I thought, and I don't know if that guy is also into, drinking, whatever, but that evening he was all right. But yeah, he was all right. It's all right.
He was all right, yeah. I think he's tall. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he was tall.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, hello.
I like it. So where's your head at now in this whole process? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Where is your mind right now in terms of how you feel? Because I've always said to not just you, but anyone else as well, that sometimes the universe can give us a few signs that we're on the right track. And I feel that the universe is giving you that right now. But how do you feel? Do you feel that you're closer? Do you feel the same place? Do you feel like you're better than when you started with the first conversation we had?
Yeah, I can't totally remember the first convo, but it'd be good to know. But where I'm at, I think I've let go of a lot during this process around like any expectations or that whole thing that he has to be even Indian, I say. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I think as you get older, you kind of become more open.
Yeah.
That's what's been happening in the last couple of months. And I think the date tomorrow evening, the second date, and that guy's not even Indian. So I just think I'm open to it.
Did I miss something? You got a date tomorrow evening, a second date tomorrow evening as well?
Yeah, that's another guy, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one I went out with over a week ago, and then he's quite keen, but I had so much to do that we could meet this week only. So, but so that one's not Indian, as in Hindu.
Yeah.
So, but I thought, let me just see, right?
Yeah, you got to see, right?
Just got to be open.
Maybe he's waiting for his Indian princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's, apparently his ex-wife was not his type, as in his religion as well. So I'm not sure what he's looking for, but I think he was all right. I think there's a few traits I do think, okay, yeah, it could work, but I don't know if I've got enough banter with him. Whereas, I need that bit of fun, and maybe I'm stopping it as well. Like, I'm not being flirty or anything, but I don't think I want to at this stage.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Things can always change on the second date. So, yeah.
So I think it feels like I'm going with the flow more, and I'm open to other possibilities. And a marriage is definitely not on the cards anymore. I don't know if it was at the start. I can't remember. But yeah, it's almost like a partnership, and that works for me. And if it does happen, it's whatever, let's see. But it's not there. It has to be at the forefront. Because I think at the start of the year, I may have wanted that still, or even last year, but not anymore.
Yeah, because I remember with the ex, obviously I think it was something quite prominent, right?
That one definitely, you talked about it a lot. But this time I'm like, it really doesn't matter, because that's not the end goal. The end goal is it going to work between you?
Even that in itself is it's a really good point to acknowledge that obviously we change, we adapt. We don't always necessarily, because when you're in the moment, you can always think that this is me right now and this is exactly what I want. And then a year's passed and you're like, yeah, I'm not that bothered by it. And it's very easy to try and make permanent decisions from temporary emotions and, thinking that, I have to have this, I must have that, whatever. And then you realize that actually it's not, most of the stuff is not such a big deal. But the important part is obviously the companionship, having someone there that you can have adventures with, share. When you go see a beautiful sunset, you've got someone to tell and message or call and just say, there's a beautiful sunset right now. It's that kind of stuff, the little things.
It's almost like your best friend or someone that's got your back, that kind of thing. That's the backbone of, I think, for me now, is someone who's willing to, be that partner, as opposed to, the marriage was if you wanted children, or there's other reasons, but I can't think of a reason at the moment. Unless it happens, as a pure commitment just because somebody wants it, or,
Crazier things have been known to happen. But hey, if it happens, it
Yeah.
happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right?
Yeah, and I think the age has a lot to do with it. It's not, I don't know. It's like as you get older, you think differently as well. Because at one point, I was definitely want someone with kids. Oh, sorry, I want kids. Then he was like, I want kids and I want to adopt. And then it was like, they've got kids, so they don't want kids, so I can't go out with them, so I need to go out with someone else. It was all changing like as years go. And then all of a sudden now it's like, it doesn't matter if they've got kids, it's okay. And I'm willing to adapt and all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to have kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. And would you say that you feel quite surrendered to the process, or do you feel a sense of apathy? Because I think a lot of people get both confused. So do you still, and are you still in a position where you know what you want and you're going after it, whilst surrendering to the process kind of thing, if you know what I mean, versus just feeling like, yeah, whatever.
No, I think I know what I still want. I think I'm still going for it. And I'm very clear on the outcome. Like, you kind of know when you've met that person because it then becomes natural.
Yeah.
I guess. I suppose everyone that I've asked, that I've met, they all say the same. I mean, there is one or two that says, yeah, but the first date wasn't all that and the second date actually was amazing, or that's when they felt the connection.
Yeah.
But there was something on the first date for them to go on the second date.
Yeah.
So I think, I think I'm definitely clear on why I would go on a second date.
Yeah.
I'm very choosy like that. I wouldn't just do it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Not doing that, no.
Love that. Very choosy.
I don't know what the word is, but
Yeah.
not even picky, but very clear. Yeah, so I feel okay and quite, surrendered, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving up, because my friend in the car just a minute ago, she was like, oh, Devi, I'm really fed up of dating. And I'm like, no, don't worry, and I explained how a couple of people had met, and I said, don't give up, just be open to all. It doesn't have to be Indian or whatever. And then, it was just that, no, I'm not giving up, but waiting for the right person.
Yeah. And obviously being in that mindset of waiting versus actually enjoying, because I think sometimes when you're
Enjoying,
there in that, when you feel like in that vibe of waiting for something to happen, you're creating more of that. But if you're enjoying, that's when you kind of,
I think I'm enjoying the process. I think because Friday night we went out to that singles. That group was just created out of a singles event, like people that want to mingle and go out to other places. I just joined the group, and I literally would have been the only girl. I took my friend who was married, but she was happy to come. And actually, we just had a really good laugh. And it wasn't about they're the right people for me, but it was more about just talking about dating, and it was quite fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was anyway. But I think it's enjoying it,
Yeah, some of those intimate gatherings quite nice, actually, I think.
Yeah.
So when you have a chance to properly get to chat to people and stuff. So what do you feel you still need? What do you think's missing or not there?
I think it's finding the quality, but also the attraction as well. So it's like, is it possible? Yeah, of course. So I think you can't have one or the other. It's like you need both, the quality man and the attraction. So it's getting there, but it's not easy, I would say.
And is that because you've got an ideal that you're striving towards, or that you're still quite open?
More attraction I think it's important for everyone. I don't know in the past I've been out with guys that I didn't think they were attractive, but thought they were really nice. But then it does have an impact, because you deep inside that, I'm not sure, but they're really nice. And then it's not fair, because you don't give 100%, and I don't want to be in that situation again.
Yeah. So out of curiosity then, what do you find attractive? What's attractive in a partner to you?
So the same things I said last time, someone who's like confident, knows what they want, they're doing something amazing that they love in their lives, they're happy with themselves, and they want to create a magnificent relationship that works and create something together as a team, and enjoy life, experience life every day in a different way. Well, experience life, live life fully. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Someone who's open and happy, I think. That's it. I think those are the things. But I can't say, I can see when I go out on dates that the men have come from the background where they had been divorced. So they're not going to be all that all straight away. And it takes time,
Yeah.
So I am aware of that as well. But yeah, it'd be nice if they had, dealt with their stuff, whatever's there, because it can have an impact on the next relationship.
Yeah.
I found that quite a bit, it's you can just tell when you talk to them.
Yeah. So if you were in this seat and there was someone else over there in the same position of you as you, what would you say to them?
I think I'd just say keep going, don't give up, and keep with your vision of what you want, because it will happen. And I am open. I was just about to say be open, but I think maybe be even more open. I don't know what that means. So yeah, I think what's changed, I think between, I don't know, for 3 weeks ago, I changed my meditations. So I started to wake up at 4:15 now and start to align with the energies. Early. Yeah, because that's when the cosmic powers are really high, and when you can really connect and then ask yourself the questions. So as I'm doing that, I think I just ask myself, what is it that I need to do next? Or what is it? It's in any area, not just dating, but it's more work or whatever. And I've been following some of these I would call it my inner AI. My inner AI.
Ironically, Deepak Chopra's got a book that's only available in India. It's called Digital Dharma.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I obviously I didn't read it, but I looked at the synopsis because my wife bought it for a friend, and it's obviously talking about from the point of view of us now having AI and access to pretty much unlimited knowledge, and increasing our consciousness and raising our vibration.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite fascinating. It's interesting that you mentioned that as, in addition.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'd never heard of it as well, because obviously, like I said, it's available there, only there. So
yeah, so I guess it's being your own, getting the answers from within, where I think we all know what to do next, but it's listening to that and taking the action. So what I do in the mornings, I consciously have my phone there and I type in whatever comes up, because then I'm clear what I need to do. So I've changed all of that in terms of my timings of how I ask myself and what time, and take those actions, inspired action. That's what I call it. So that's changed a lot. And I think I just feel even more peaceful than ever. I don't know if that's anything to do with that, but there is a difference.
Yeah. So, are you doing that every morning, waking up before 15 every morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
Except the weekends I didn't, but yeah. Yeah, 4:15, then 5:15 to 6:15, then I lie back down, rest, and then I go to the gym at 7:15.
Gotcha.
So, but that timing is clear, and it's pin drop silence, and you can really connect.
I did that a lot back in the day, waking up before I am meditating.
But then before that, I do the Kriya, which is the Sudarshan Kriya, the breathing. Then I go into that. So all the intentions, everything are done then, and then it's quiet. Then I ask myself, what do I need to do today, or about dating or whatever. Yeah, my work especially.
Yeah. So what do you do in that practice in terms of the manifestation side of things, creation? What do you do? What do you visualize? What do you put out there?
So that I do the Reiki, the whole process of that, and then I thank all my guides. And then I go into whatever I want to manifest in terms of I say all the different areas, from work to business to health, fitness, dating, every area of my life. So, and then I feel it. So it's almost like you feel it, that it's here and it's now and it's exciting and fun. And then I go into quiet, and then I ask myself the AI questions.
The AI questions.
Myself.
Yeah.
I ask myself. My AI.
Nice.
So, and That's it. I've been doing that for years now, like that process anyway. And I also say the I am statements quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm a competent, confident, charismatic, inspiring, fun leader, that kind of mantra.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra's quite an advocate of that. I think it's powerful
It's really
process.
powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, work-wise, obviously there's lots going on. It's very challenging. I'm talking about the corporate job.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just staying with it. I'm just, whatever will happen, will happen. You know, what more can I do?
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm in a job at the moment till March, but
Yeah.
not enjoying the process, but I'm keeping at it and I'm managing through the work that I do in the morning because it keeps me calm.
From what I feel from you, I feel like you're so close. What do I mean by that? I think that it's just literally a matter of very short space of time now because you're doing everything and now it's just almost the wait and see game almost.
Yeah. Testing it out now.
Yeah. But at the same time, still finding ways to love the process.
Yeah.
The event we had on Saturday, I gave about 15-20 minute talk at the beginning and then we had some icebreakers and everyone said they loved it and they really enjoyed the event, the icebreakers, and that for me was one of the big things that can be quite transformational because they're almost forgetting why they're there and they're just having a good time, and it almost puts you into that surrendered state. And so many people, I said, did you get numbers? And then everyone's like, yeah, I did got numbers, walked away with some numbers, potential dates, and probably the most I've ever heard people say that.
Yeah.
And then of course we did the speed date, and the speed date as well was, you know, we'd kind of gone over our time limit, and I said to everyone, look, we can either finish the speed date or I can let you guys just mingle. And everyone pretty much said, let's finish the speed date. So they wanted to just carry on because I was using these questions as well for every round. We were asking one of these questions as well, and people were just really enjoying it. And every time it's great because as well, you know, you say the question like what the one I asked you today about your biggest regret. And you get that kind of reaction where you ask that question and everyone, all you hear in the room is, ooh, you know, like that. You love that kind of reaction because it really, you know, that's the reaction of where it makes people think and they're not doing what they would normally do. Yeah. The status quo is shifted and they're really starting to think differently. It puts them into a completely different vibrational state, a different mindset. So I think no matter what, it's going to be threefold. One is maintaining the absolute clarity of what you want and having no need to ever second guess yourself. That is, when you see someone, you either know that they're for you or they're not, in terms of their value, their quality of who they are. Example, the drinking. That's a very clear no for you. I know that anyway. I could tell you that straight away. That you're not going to bond with a guy who drinks a lot. Occasionally, of course, yeah, fair enough. But that, you know, that type of thing. So you don't have to question yourself that I have to then, maybe I should give this person a chance. No, you don't need to worry about that anymore. You know what you want. You know what's important to you, and you just focus on that. Because you don't want to end up slipping into that mindset of scarcity, of thinking maybe I should give, you know, I'm giving this as an example, but that type of person a chance because, you know, why not? No, you don't need to do that anymore. Because you know what your value is, you know what your worth is, you know what you want, you're very clear about it, and just go after that. If they're there and they don't align with what your principles and your values are, don't need to worry about it. Second thing is maintaining that vibration of just having fun, enjoying yourself, letting go of that expectation of no matter what the outcome is, you're going to remain happy and enjoy yourself and have a good time. And even when there is a little bit of ambiguity, not being afraid to just say it as it is, and just say to them that in, you know, this example that you had earlier with this guy is that, Cooey, I've just dropped you my dates and you haven't responded. Just in case you'd missed that, here they are. Here's the dates again. Yeah. So let's make it happen. And then third and foremost is being open as well. And this is where the little tricky balancing act comes in as well. Of course, you don't have to date everyone who's definitely where someone is not an option, but also being open to meeting people outside of your regular type. And again, just going with the flow, enjoying it, no expectations, having fun, enjoying yourself. And if it happens to progress, it progresses, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And when something doesn't work out, being able to just say, okay, without it actually, tipping the scales of the state you're in.
Just be okay, because that's what's meant to happen, and accept it.
Yeah. And then so that's the energetic part, and I think that in terms of the actual practical parts, you're also pretty much there. I mean, you were talking to these guys and giving them great tips on the 3 A's and the 3 C's, and I think that's all practical and very relevant, and it's important. It's important to know what's important to the other person. That appreciation, that
love languages,
the adoration, the love languages, the double love languages, their attachment styles, what they need in the moment, what the
attachment styles. I think I'm not very clear on at the moment, but I will have to look into that one. I
mean, you won't need to delve into it much, but it's just good to know. It's just good to be able to understand what someone's why someone behaves the way they do. So it's just understanding their behavior, right? So the typical example is the anxious avoidant loop, right? It's the most common one, where you've got someone who's a little bit anxious, and so it takes a while for them to break down their barriers, and you've got an avoidant who is very quick to love bomb and jump in both feet. But as soon as it gets serious, they'll pull away, and then the anxious is left wondering why. What did I do? What happened? Why did they suddenly pull away, etc., etc. And it just goes into that loop, and they end up repeating that loop again and again. And it stems from their childhood and how they were loved from their parents, their caregivers, etc. So when you're anxious and stuff, obviously you had to kind of chase after love. And when the avoidant, you were given it too freely, and then you even used it then as a almost weapon as well. So that's where it all comes from. And it's a very loose explanation, but those are the biggest ones. And then you've got the secure attachment, you've got the disorganized attachment as well, the fearful avoidance and all the rest of it. But to be honest, that anxious avoidant loop is probably the biggest one that I see.
So it's about managing that?
It's about, look, everyone's got their own upbringing, how they were brought up,
right?
What has happened as a result. So when someone, for example, when someone comes to me and says they've got, they think they're got an anxious attachment style, or I delve in and I figure out that they've got an anxious attachment style, it's about then there for them to learn how to manage it and be able to, again, like for example, they meet someone and they'll take a while to break down, but as soon as they do, they'll go in head over heels and then expect that to just be it. And then when the avoidant pulls away, they're like, why did that happen? Why did that happen? They don't have that ability to self-soothe. They're constantly chasing, wondering, why haven't they messaged me today? What hasn't happened? So they don't have the ability to kind of
let go, maybe?
No, so more of like self-soothe, kind of reassure themselves, not be chasing after them, thinking about them, spending all their time and attention, focused on that person,
right?
And put themselves into a bit of a state where they're have a bit more of a secure attachment. They're okay that they haven't heard from that person that day. They're okay that they haven't heard from them for a couple of days, or that they've broken their pattern and haven't messaged for the last 6 hours, or whatever it might be. It could be anything. But so they just obviously initially they just lack that ability to self-regulate. So that's where it comes from. But again, I don't think you have much of that. I think you were leaning probably slightly on the anxious side, but I don't think you are that much anymore, really, to be honest. And you've just got to keep doing what you're doing and just keep putting yourself out there and having fun. And just the one thing I will say is that just be mindful of getting into the role of the coach when you're dating.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be.
Yeah. Even when you met all these guys and you're coaching them and stuff as well, just it's fine that you do it.
I think it was more tips of well-being, but the dating came up because they're all dating.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's just do it. Just for fun. I was like, but they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it could come across, you're right.
Yeah, just be mindful about becoming their therapist. Don't let it become a habit when you're out there, when you're dating and you're meeting these guys, and that you slip into that role by mistake and start helping them with whatever's going on in their life and stuff like that. It's very easy to do, and you just want to avoid that if possible.
Definitely don't want to do that. No.
So based on everything I said in terms of what the 3 things for you, does that sort of resonate? Does that sound like something that
having fun, keep going.
And the clarity and the clarity, sorry, having the clear vision about what it is you want, what you're looking for, what you're gonna create, because you're a creator, baby. You have this power.
I have the creating power.
Years ago, my wife's guru said to her, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm creating him for you."
That's nice. It's nice.
And here I am.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, but you have that power. You have that power to create, and you don't have to worry about anything like that. So
yeah.
So by the time we next speak, I expect you to actually be third, fourth date in with someone, and
let's put it out there.
Yeah. I'm confident, like, you know, this process with us, I think, has been, you know, it's taught me a lot. It hasn't been easy all the time. And, you know, it's brought up things for me that I need to work on. You know, I'm just being completely honest, right? So I've got a coach on the podcast tomorrow, and we were talking about this, that one of our subjects tomorrow might be radical honesty, radical candor. We were talking about this. And so being able to just freely say to someone, actually, it hasn't been the easiest. There are times when I coach people, it's really simple, really straightforward, and there's other times when it's challenging. And you've been one of the more challenging ones. But that's okay, because then I learn, I grow, I develop, I take away something from it. You know, just because it is hard doesn't mean it's bad. It's actually a really good thing. So
challenging in what way? Now I'm curious.
I think, just being honest, I think in the beginning, obviously I said to you that we, you know, try and keep the questions for the podcast, but you would ask a lot in the middle, and so I had to
Did I?
Yeah,
right.
You did, yeah. In the beginning, you did.
I asked questions in the podcast.
No, I said to you, save the questions for the podcast, but you'd not ask me a lot of questions in between.
See. Yeah, because I just feel like we're on the journey, and that the dating process is happening. So if I don't, then I'm gonna not know what to do.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Then I'll get it all wrong.
I get it. That's exactly what I mean.
I'm just intentional, unmessable.
No, at all. Yeah, but I think, like I said, I think that you're very, very close now, and I think that it won't be long now. It's going to be
coming from the love doctor. It must be good, huh?
Yeah, definitely. So out of this whole process, though, what's been your favorite part so far?
I think I'm open and trusting that you kind of see what I don't see. That's the whole point of me being here, I think. Because I think when you're dating, you may repeat the same patterns. So I think the communication with the men, I think that's important, that you kind of know what to, how to make them tick, or because normally I wouldn't know how to communicate properly, or so asking you or guiding us has been quite interesting. So I'm very aware of that now.
Yeah.
But also, learning to be straight with men. I think that is another learning. So
and that's a big one as well, because obviously women are very between the lines, and men are very direct. So it's up for a woman to learn to be more direct, and for a guy to learn to read between the lines and stuff. And that's always going to be the constant yin and yang of men and women, and that's never going to change. And my wife and I had something really funny the other day, and I wish I could remember what it was. It's gone out of my head, but it was just so atypical husband-wife stuff.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just I was at the cooker, and she was ripping me about something, and I can't remember what it was. It was literally yesterday. It slipped my mind already, but it's just so atypical husband wife, male female dynamic and stuff. And I was just, like, even though we were getting a bit pissy at each other, do you know what I mean, but I was laughing as well, because I was like, this is just so, because obviously knowing what I know, I need to step out myself sometimes and realize that this is just typical random shit, so not to worry about it. But so understanding, like you said, being able to be more direct with guys so they understand, so that when you're not letting the unsaid remain unsaid and just saying it.
I think I'm still learning that one. That I don't think I've practiced enough of that.
Oh, don't worry. That's a big one for women in general. I think. Why hasn't he called me yet? Why haven't you asked him to call you? It's one of those things that when you're on the outside, what I know, it's so obvious. But when you're in the thick of it, it's obviously quite challenging. And don't get me wrong, I'm still human. I still make all the same mistakes, and we all do. But it's, when you can integrate some of these habits, at least it takes away some of the pain in the future. So, and just setting that precedence in your relationship from the get-go, from the beginning, so you both know. You know where you stand, you know where you don't have to wait for, him. Why doesn't he open the car door for me? Or whatever it is. And just saying to him, I appreciate when you open the car door for me. So he knows, instead of thinking it and expecting him to be the mind reader and that he should know all this already, just reminding him, because we blokes are dumb. We'll forget things very quickly, and we'll revert back to our old ways very quickly. That reminder, that prompting is never ever going to disappear. It's got to be there for life.
That's interesting.
Yeah. If you don't want to prompt him, don't get married.
So I changed a couple of things, like suggesting not to go out for dinners and do activities and stuff like that. Especially the one for tomorrow, but I think we're still, because of the evening, it's still going to be out not doing an activity. But actually, I might change that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as in suggesting,
Yeah.
Because I think it's fun to do something different.
Definitely.
But yeah, again, it's actually saying it, and I find that quite a bit difficult. But I am trying to.
But again, every woman does. But you've got to be able to just say it. Otherwise, he's never going to know. Have you seen this meme doing the rounds, right? So where a guy, again, it's a great one because it's a reminder for a guy to say to a woman, for example, guess where I'm taking you for dinner?
I don't know, maybe Italian.
Yeah, absolutely. So there it is, right? So do you see what I mean? What happened there, right? Yeah. Your favorite Italian. What was it? I forgot what it's called again. What was it called?
Yeah. That authentic Italian.
Yeah. But it's a great tip for a guy, a great sort of hack for a guy to, if he doesn't know what you want to do, he can say something like that, right? So guess where I'm taking you tomorrow, and you might suddenly be prompted to say, oh, is it that place we were going to go? And he'd be like, yeah, of course it is that, right? So then he knows, and then he's got the idea of where he takes you. He doesn't have to actually think.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him. So tell him, where do you want to go? What activity do you want to do?
Oh, I said crazy golf or bowling or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. But I don't think it is happening because he said, oh, we'll meet somewhere else, which is not bowling. Which is fine. But anyway.
Guide him to go that way.
I will.
Yeah. See, what would you say in that in this situation then? What are you going to say?
I'll just say, so are we going to, because he knows, are we going to crazy golf, or are we going, what activity are we doing? Yeah. Maybe that.
Yeah, just so I'm looking forward to crazy golf on Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. Just keep dropping those hints.
Might say it to the other one though, the tall one.
Yeah, exactly. Say it to him as well. Why not? I tell you what, if there's one suggestion I can make, which I think has been my favorite activity in 2024. Was have you ever been to an escape room?
Yeah.
There's one in Brent Cross, and there was I think it's called, I forgot what the name of the escape room company is, but they got one which is like Horror Hotel, and it was brilliant. I have to say, it was so good. Like, I loved it. We went as a double date, so to a couple that was near his friends, and I absolutely loved it. I'd go again.
Oh wow! Okay.
I want to do it for a singles event as well, but obviously you can only do it in small groups. But I absolutely loved it. It was so good.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So that's another one to pretend. Yeah. I think it's a great couple activity because you really get to see how the other person responds to challenge, and how you respond to them in response to challenge. So it's kind of like multi-dimensional, because it is quite tricky. You genuinely have to put your thinking caps on and solve these puzzles as you're in this escape room. And this particular one, the Horror Hotel one, I think everyone said to me the other ones aren't as good. They're good, but this one is really good. It's really well thought out. So you've got multiple rooms, multiple stages to this thing. And so you get past one and then you still got another one to work out, and you've got to really work together. So that's why I loved it. To me, it was just brilliant. Like I said, I'd happily go again.
I need to take an intelligent man for that one. Because I ain't intelligent enough. I think I remember last time I went, I wasn't good at. I was like, oh, okay.
What, an escape room?
Yeah, oh, okay. It wasn't that one, but I remember I was like, oh my God, this is not as easy as I thought.
I think it's a great idea. That, like I said, it's a great
but it's fun,
insight into the other person and how they handle challenge.
Yeah. I do like those sort of fun things as well. And I think with my ex, he always used to organise it without asking me.
Yeah, I remember you saying
Which I think was nice because it was always a surprise, or it was always like something different every time. So I think now you're saying you have to instigate it.
And this is why I've said it, and I know I have said this to you in the past as well, because obviously you had that, and it's very easy for you to expect every other guy you meet to be that, and you've almost equated that's what love means, that he would just do all of these things. But every guy is the same. Every guy's going to be different, and you still might meet a guy who isn't quite adept at planning and surprising you, but still very loving towards you in his own way, and you'll equally love him, but he just maybe won't have that aspect to him where he's quite a bit more spontaneous about planning things.
Yeah.
But like I said, just one thing I will definitely say is that just for not just you, for every woman out there, just it's so tempting to try and expect the man to mind read you, and you've got to just say what is unsaid right now. And just say it. Full stop. That will solve so many problems in marriages. Have you watched, you haven't watched Married at First Sight or any of those kinds of shows, have you? Oh, have you? Have you been watching Married at First Sight?
I think the Love is Blind one or something like that, the one where they talk.
Yeah, talk through the wall, yeah.
That I found fascinating. Honestly.
I did as well. I really like that. I think if you take the beginning part of Love is Blind and the end part of Married at First Sight, you get a really good show. Yeah. But it was fascinating to see how, I mean, of course, a show like Married at First Sight is designed to, create drama. Without it, no one's going to freaking watch it. Are they going to, they want a show with drama. Otherwise it's just pointless. But when you look at how they treat each other, you can almost tell the difference between the bits that are real and the bits that are dramatized. But even then, like couples just fighting and just like, when a woman really just openly criticizes the guy or, really puts him down in public, like for me, that's an absolute no. You've got to, and again, for the guy to back up his woman in public or really support her if she's being challenged or whatever it is, and you just see all these mishaps happening and creating divisions. So I think from this most recent season that's finished now, when I looked online, I think only one couple has reconnected. But apart from that, all the other couples, every single one, it's over, finished.
How many couples was that?
Was it 12, I think? Okay. It might have been 10, I think. 10 or something like that. But yeah, that's crazy to think that's the stat. You'd think it would have a bit more. I
don't know how that one works, the Married at First Sight.
So 3 experts pair up all these people and marry them off. And then they obviously go on the honeymoon first. They get married first, go on the honeymoon, and then they come back and live together, and they have to do all these various challenges over the weeks and stuff as well. Nothing like crazy, but just basic stuff. But yeah.
They're all filing a divorce now. Oh, God. Oh, wow.
But of course, it's a TV show. It's designed to have drama and not be perfect. But again, just watching that really can highlight some of these dynamics that you see that are detrimental to relationships
fundamental
overall.
As well.
Yeah. I'm listening to the audiobook I've just finished. It's called Super Communicators by a guy called Charles Duhigg. And there was an interesting segment in there where he's talking about relationships. And there was another study done looking at what constituted and contributed to some couples remaining together. So they looked at couples, for example, fighting habits, and the difference between, like, you had 2 couples fought the same amount, relatively equal, and one survived and one didn't. And the difference was where the ones that survived versus the ones that didn't. The ones that didn't, they were often a form of control over the other person. Oh, wow. So like, you have to listen to me now. You best not disrespect me in public. Shit. It's enforcing rules and control on the other person. Yeah. And so I thought that's fascinating because I've never heard that before. Although it's occurred to me, but I've never heard it said like that from a study. So it's that idea that you're controlling the other person and trying to dictate their actions and stuff as well. So I found that really fascinating. But
the other side.
But the other side, they would argue, but they were fine. And it was the difference was they weren't trying to control the other person. They'd argue, they'd fight, but then afterwards they'd be absolutely fine.
Okay.
They'd piss each other off and, all that kind of stuff. But they would be okay afterwards. They couldn't quite pinpoint what it was at first, but it was the control element.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I found out recently, and I think you probably know this because you speak to a lot of men. So I find it fascinating how men are prepared to stay in a marriage, even if it wasn't working, to be in a family or to be there because of the kids. And I've heard that about 5-6 times. I was prepared to stay in the marriage, but I would be in the marriage even if this wasn't like this or this wasn't like that. So I don't know. I just find that fascinating. Don't know if you've heard that or.
I have, yeah. I found that quite a lot.
Even if it was unhappy, they will still want to keep the family together and not disturb anything and just to be in a family unit.
Yeah. Again, people might take this the wrong way, but I think the women tend to be more selfish creatures, and so they're more likely to do what they feel is better for them, whereas the men are more likely to sacrifice for what the bigger thing is. That's the again, people hearing that be like, no, that's not true. They'll argue against it. I get it, but that's what I see. That's what I see. And when I say selfish, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that that's their nature. That's who they are. And that's the way it is. It may sound like a bad word. I'm using a bad word for it, but it's just, women just tend to be more focused on, I want to make myself happy. I want to do what's right for me, etc., etc. Whereas men more willing to go down the road of sacrifice and let go of their own happiness for everyone else.
Yes, I've seen that, yeah.
But yeah, I hear that a lot as well.
Good.
So the next time you and I speak and we talk, I am expecting
the final session.
I'm expecting there to be an actual
save the best
guy. We can actually tell everyone their name, what their name is.
Might have to bring him on the podcast.
Yeah, why not? I've offered that to someone else as well. I said, for the final session, if you want me to talk to you and your partner, no problem at all.
Yeah, that will be the what should we call it? The one after the last.
Yeah.
The ultimate one.
Yeah.
The ultimate podcast. Yeah. No, that's great.
So just that last thing, say what is in your mind. Don't leave it unsaid. You'll be fine.
I've got to practice that one.
Yeah, that's one for you to definitely practice and just go for it. No, nothing's going to happen.
And it's almost like pre-framing that question as well. Just say, something is on my mind and don't take it the wrong way. But this is what I was thinking. That's it.
Yeah, and just being direct is what.
My sugarcoating by saying that.
And men need to learn to use a little bit more emotional language and stuff as well. That's their thing. That's what they've got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a tricky one for them, isn't it? I mean, because you probably hear men talk to men on the phone. It's so funny. I find that fascinating. It's very like 2 words. Yeah, mate. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Me at this time. All right. See you then. Bye.
And then you're like, what do they talk about when they actually meet? Right. When I'm around guys who are into football, it's just
always
football. Yeah. No, never anything else. Never anything else. And obviously I don't thrive in that environment because I'm not into footy. So, I see that a lot as well.
But do you find it quite fascinating and cute in a way? Because it's just funny to watch that. It's just like...
One of my core group of guy friends, we're all married. The 3 of them, though, have got kids. They're parents. That's the only difference between me and them. And the other difference is that I'm Gujarati, they're all Punjabi, right? But it's quite interesting now, the dynamic and what we talk about is very, very deep philosophical, talking about families, what we're going through as men, as we get older, the menopause, as I've started to...
The menopause, interesting, yeah.
I've started to explain to people. I was chatting to someone recently and they were talking about, it's so good that, we know about the, menopause for women. I'm like, we just still don't know about the menopause. We don't talk about it. But it's true, though. It's so true.
They do go through stuff, don't they? Yeah.
Hell yeah. As soon as they sort of hit that approximate 40 mark and their testosterone drops off a cliff, like I think it's something we don't acknowledge yet, but guys go through major changes as well, but they just go through silently at the moment.
Wow. Yeah, that must be hard.
Yeah. And the whole, like, again, you know how we still take the piss out of men midlife crisis. We're really flippant about it. It's not nice, because they're actually genuinely going through something, but yet we'll be so flippant about it. He's just going through a midlife crisis. It's not nice, is it? If guys said that to you about, just control your hormones, you wouldn't like it, right? It'd just be like,
No.
It's not very nice. And so, yeah, so I think we need to wake up to that as well.
Yeah.
So that
I think that will come about. Yeah.
it's coming slowly but surely. A lot more men podcasts coming about now. They're actually talking about stuff like this now.
That will be,
Actively,
yeah.
So,
Interesting.
so yeah, so I'll be conducting her wedding on the last session. I'll be
Yes.
like, yeah, you are now husband and wife. So that's it now. So we just got one more to go. One more to go.
Come on, Amit, it's your last chance.
I'm confident. I'm genuinely very confident. I feel like I know it's going to happen. I know. I've done this enough that I know. I can see the signs.
Good. I'm glad you can. Well, I do feel it. I do feel that it's it will happen.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So our podcast next one is not till probably next year because
Probably,
December
yeah,
is
'cause,
chock-a-block.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen. In December.
So no, we've got plenty of time for you to develop a relationship with one of these guys and be, maybe 6 dates in or so.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more.
Depends. It's very busy December, but yeah, I think everyone is. But
you never know. He
could be end of Jan if we can do it end of Jan.
Yeah, he could be coming home to meet the family. Over Christmas, meet the mum.
You never know on the 6th date.
Yeah, could be. Let's see.
Could be doing the rocker.
That, if anyone who doesn't know, that's the engagement, isn't it? Right, Roka?
I think it's a Punjabi thing.
That is a Punjabi thing, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Feeling Inspired podcast. I will see you all on the next episode, and of course, you'll see Devi hooked up by the next episode as well.
We're putting it out there, yes.
Yeah, I'm manifesting it. I'm making it happen. I'm telling you. So, I will see you all on the next episode. Ciao for now.